increasing the R value, which then reduces your heating and cooling costs. So for the insulation, most homes in the United States use fiberglass bats for their insulation. I'm sure all of you have seen it. And during installation, it's very easy to create gaps with fiberglass bats. Even 1 millimeter of gap will equal heat loss. So we have decided to go with a combination of insulation to maximize the energy efficiency of our home. First, what we're going to do is do a sprayed-in foam. As you can see in the middle picture here, that is sprayed-in foam. We will put in sprayed-in foam and then add a layer of blown-in insulation. One aspect of our home that is really important to mention is we are using 2-inch Foamular rigid extruded polystyrene panels. And most homes, the wall thickness is an R value of 13 in most homes. We just like to mention that the 2-inch rigid panel is an R value of 10. So our rigid panel alone is almost the amount of a standard wall, which is going to create a very insulated home. So now that we've bored you with all of our research, it's time to see our design.
Right, here is the beautiful exterior of our 1-bedroom base plan. It originally, when we first started it, started out as 528 square feet, and it was really great for a 1-bedroom square house. It flowed well, but we found one of our major requirements for this project was to be modular. We wanted it to have the same exterior walls, the same doors, the same windows, so that if it ever did go into a construction phase, it would be cheap and easy to build these homes. So when we started trying to combine it with the 2- and 3-bedroom plans in the ADA, we found that it was not a good jumping off spot. So we changed our plan and we decided to make it into a slightly larger 720 square feet. You can see that here. As you walk in the home, see if I can get my laser to work here. Right here, this is our entrance, and you see how we brought out these stone so that in the Utah winters there's lots of snow, lots of mud. We wanted to protect our wooden floors as much as possible and also create an entry area without having to create an entirely separate room. You can see the workflow in the kitchen working efficiently. And here's that table we were talking about as it's combined with the living area. As you move towards the back of the home, you start to see some of our universal design features that Kendall was discussing. And this is in our wide hallways and our larger door openings. And also in the bathroom, we have a walk-in shower versus a tub, and that just opens it up for resale value and also for people with ADA. And in the back here, this corner, is where we did add that extra space. And we felt that this was very helpful since it is a small home to have a separate area for your washing and your drying and all your computer stuff to be back away from the main living area.
This is the exterior of our 2nd and 3rd bedroom options. The dormer was added in an aesthetic pleasing manner to offset the solar panels that lay on the opposite side of the roof. Inside the downstairs flooring, the floor plan basically stayed the same with only a few minor adjustments, including this cove area to fit the stackable washer and dryer, as well as the stairs were added to that extra room that we added when creating the 3rd and ADA options. The 3rd bedroom option is where we started. We found it difficult to place the stairs in the 528 square feet, so when we enlarged it to the 720 square feet, we were able to easily more put the stairs in there, and they fit very nicely. However, our upstairs floor area expanded way too far, and we had over 1,300 square feet in our upstairs. Abby and I sat down together and eliminated half of the floor upstairs and opened it to both the kitchen and the living room below. This allowed still room for our 2 bedrooms and our bathroom. We then took our 3rd bedroom floor and created the 2-bedroom option, eliminating the 1 bedroom and expanding the other one, also rearranging the closet. Total upstairs is 380 square feet, the downstairs is 676, and we're at 1,056 square feet total for the 2nd and 3rd bedroom options.
All right, this is the ADA floor plan. As you can see, it's the same exterior as our primary base plan. For the ADA floor plan, we really had to take into consideration what it would be like to have a disability. When I sat down to design this, I spent the entire day wheeling around in a desk chair just to get an idea of what it's really like. I cooked in a desk chair, I tried transferring to the toilet in a desk chair, I did everything I could, and I realized how hard it really is to live in a home that is not designed to accommodate somebody in a wheelchair. So what we did, some of the features we added were 3-foot doors. Most doors are 2 foot 8 inches, and that doesn't allow enough room for somebody in a wheelchair to wheel through without hitting their fingers. So we have 3-foot doors and also a lowered window height. We wanted somebody in a wheelchair to be able to open a window if they wanted to, and more importantly, if there's an emergency and they needed to exit the home, they'd need to be able to get through the window. Another thing we did is lower the counter height. I didn't realize how hard it was to cut food when a 3-foot counter is up here and you're trying to do it. It's really hard. So we lowered all the counter height, and another thing we did is we opened the space below the counter so that somebody could wheel up in their wheelchair and their knees wouldn't hit the front, so there's space for their knees. Another thing we included was a 5-foot turning radius, especially in the kitchen when you're moving around all over the place. We have a 5-foot turning radius in the kitchen. We have one in the closet so they can get their clothes easily. And we have them pretty much all over the home so they can turn around and maneuver around the house. Another thing we did is lower the shelves. In the closet, all of the shelving is at wheelchair height, and we've widened the hallways as well. We have front access appliances with all of the knobs on the front. Another aspect of ADA appliances is they have to be able to use them with less than 5 pounds of force. And and another thing is the workflow that we created here to make it easy for somebody in a wheelchair to cook dinner. So now we'd like to talk about our goals for next semester.
Next semester, we would like to complete a full set of construction documentation. This consists of everything from our slab-on-grade foundation to the roof structure of the home. We will include sections of our home, detailed drawings of our home, and the elevations of the interior and exterior of our homes.
One of the goals that we mentioned earlier is getting those presentation skills. We have in applications for Posters on the Hill in Washington, D.C. We will be applying for WSU at the Capitol, and we just found out that we are accepted to be presenting at the Utah Conference on Undergraduate Research. So we're very excited about that. We also plan on doing some presentations for the community through Habitat for Humanity, maybe finding some local builders, and just finding people who would be interested in hearing our product and giving us input on real-world experience for this. Another thing that we're excited to do next semester is the scaled model. This is going to come in handy with our modular design because we're going to have the exact same floor plan exterior walls. So when we want to show a different plan, all that will be required is to pull out the interior walls and bring in a new plan and put it right in. Or for the 2- and 3-bedroom option, you'll just stack it right on top. And we feel like this will be very tactile and will give all of our audiences a better connection to our project, a really good feel for what we're up to.
Another thing that we would like to do is continue our research. We have to come up with an overall cost estimate for our home because we do have a constraint at $90,000. Right now we have all of our materials chosen and we know what we want to do. But once we add all that up, if it's not under $90,000, we are going to have to make some revisions and change some of our product choices. Another thing we'd like to do is address the landscaping. Not a lot of people know how how landscaping can make your home more energy efficient. We'd like to obtain quotes from contractors, and once our final floor plan is designed and ready to go, we are going to get the final certification scoring from NHB.
We've had an incredible amount of support from all of you as faculty and then also from the individuals that helped us here. We wanted to extend a special thanks to Brenda, Brian, John, Barbara Breen, Miranda Baxter, and Jane Mulford. If you guys could give them a round of applause. And yourselves.
Right, we'd like to open open it up for questions. As people are asking questions, we have a slideshow showing interior shots of our home so you can see what it looks like inside. And yeah, any questions?
Yes, Kelly.
I was very impressed with your presentation. Just reflecting on the product offering that you have, I would see that many of us would be personally interested, especially as things have happened recently, maybe even the ADA compliant ones. But as you project further into your project and see that you could actually do this as something beyond school and could become very, very successful with this, have you reflected on how that might impact your own home needs and what you would actually do in the case that you became very wealthy? Would you still have the desire for the small sustainability type of home, or would that change? Have you reflected on
I have.
those
I actually go over this in my head on a regular basis. I go, do I want a simple, nice, quiet life, or do I want it all? And I change from day to day. But basically, ever since I left home, I have been living in small spaces, and it has dramatically helped my life because with school and work, I have a ridiculously busy life, and it is nice to only have to take care of, 1,000 square feet a day. And here in Utah, I do live in a one-bedroom apartment, but during the summers, I live in a national park, and I live in one of the cabins they provide there. And it makes my one-bedroom apartment look like a mansion. And I gotta say, the happiest times of my life are while I'm there, while I'm not focusing on taking care of all my stuff and having everything perfect in my house. I just have this little cabin, sweep the floor, and then I get to go out and enjoy my life more fully. So I feel like it's more beneficial to have a small home, regardless of income level.
That's probably just because you're not at school.
Definitely, it's part of it.
How about you other two? Have you reflected on those kinds of...
Well, I currently live in a studio apartment by myself, just me, and I feel very comfortable in that. And I've always planned as a single person to never buy myself a home, but to actually buy myself a condo in the future when I get older, just for the mere fact it's less work for me to have to do being an individual.
Yeah, the home I live in right now is 1,300 square feet, and it's got 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. And I don't mind living in a smaller home. My boyfriend, on the other hand, does. So I might have to compromise on that. But I've always wanted to live in a smaller space because I hate dusting. I hate cleaning, Like, I would rather have less things and be able to go out and travel more. And I think that's why I would want a smaller home.
Thank you.
Yes.
With respect to this project, in terms of single-family dwelling, how do you define sustainability for a building like this?
We do it through our certification with NAHB, and that's, they have certain ones like indoor air quality, how much energy this home is consuming, and definitely product choices, and that's where we're looking into, like, we're not using carpeting, we're choosing to go with hardwood because hardwood is wood, it goes back into the earth when you're done with it, whereas carpet has all those negative side effects. So we did a lot of that sort of thing, and then also, when the home starts running, it would be very beneficial for us if it ever did happen to do energy studies and see how much money and how much energy these homes are saving.
Did you, in your talking to different groups, did you talk to the interior design technology folks at all?
No, not at all. That is something we have considered for next semester, especially with us building that solid model. If we found a group in there who would like to go in and interior decorate that solid model for us, it would be an absolute incredible.
Because they look at such things as kitchen and baths with respect to the same kinds of issues that you're looking at here. It might be worthwhile to talk to them as well.
Thank you very much.
I had a question on your costs you can figure out for next semester. How does that break down between materials, labor, and markup? Or are you trying to combine all those to be under 90,000, and how would you break that? How do you think that'll break down?
That's part of what we are researching next semester, is because we haven't had a lot of cost estimating experience in architectural. We definitely plan on hoping to get bids from the community. So we actually plan to take our plans to places like Big D and other constructors and say, how much could you build this for? and tell us where we can cut back. And that's kind of how we plan on getting those figures.
You might want to talk to the construction management people.
Yes,
too.
them as well,
Definitely.
for sure.
Is the 90,000 just material and labor costs, or is that the land as well?
That is not including the land.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, so-
No land.
Did you look at the option of a basement?
We did, and the reason we decided to take that out is for the, we had a couple different reasons for it. One is the ease of construction, just because laying a slab down is going to save us a few dollars there. And then also, we really like that thermal mass underneath us. We like to be able to have it cool our home and heat our home as well. And so that's one of the major reasons we decided to go with slab on grade.
Because it would affect your efficiency.
Definitely.
The slab on grade also helps in our universal design.
Habitat tends to do slab on grade a lot.
George?
As Kiddo was talking about, she lives in a small home and she has one bathroom, and all the smaller homes have one bathroom. Why would you put a second bathroom in a home that you're trying to be sustainable and you're limited in space?
The reason we felt
You
that
have
it
kids
was.
and you have to ask that question?
Well,
Yeah. Thank you. If you've noticed, we are all females, and so we've all experienced living in small spaces. I lived, my very first college experience, I lived in a home that was smaller than the size of this building with 6 other females and 1 bathroom, and it did not work out. It was not, we felt that it wasn't going to benefit our home builders, and since we were able to fit it in, we felt it was worth it just because it's nice when, if you have 3 bedrooms, it's really difficult to live with 1 bathroom.
Can I also comment on this? My parents recently had their home appraised, and all the time I was growing up, we lived with 1 bathroom and 5 bedrooms. When they did get their appraisal, because they did not have a bathroom downstairs, the appraisal came in short and they ended up having to put one in. So to forego that appraisal within our design, we put the bathroom in there for that.
And now follow the second part of that was on the sustainability of the home with the second bath.
We felt that it's still going to be the same amount of water usage because the same people are still using it. And it does add a slight amount more construction cost because you are going to have a little bit more tile, but it's just replacing the square footage that we were going to include anyways. And we felt that it was worth the sustainable drawbacks.
I was just going to mention too that the house I live in, the 1 bathroom house, we've had it for sale since the beginning of the summer, and every single person that's come to look at it says they won't buy it because it only has 1 bathroom.
It's also to open our market. We tried to make our design as appealing to everybody as possible. We didn't want to just appeal to people who are interested in green. We didn't want to just appeal to people who wanted small homes. We wanted to try to appeal to everybody, and we felt like throwing in that second bathroom, we opened up our horizons a little more.
I'm just going to get one more question on a follow-up question on it because we're going to go back to Europe now because they're the one that kind of developed this design. What have you researched on their particular designs with the sustainability of their homes, such as in Norway and those areas, Copenhagen and stuff like that, where they really focus on sustainability? What have you researched dealing with construction of homes in Europe in that area where they really focus on sustainability?
We used IKEA a lot for this because they are a Switzerland-based, Swedish-based company, and so we did view a few things through them. But also when we were first trying to define the scope of our project, we found a lot of our videos, and most of the videos we were finding were from Europe, and they talked a lot about their sustainability. Most of we were focusing on size. We haven't researched much beyond that. Something we could definitely include in next semester.
Aren't they the leader of these small homes?
They are.
Yeah.
Japan's kind of with them on that. It's kind of you see that kind of on opposite sides of the globe. They're both really working on keeping those spaces small because they have limited space.
I had a question for you guys. I was looking at your schedule and you had posters on the hill, WS Day at the Capitol. That's that's one event, right?
No, those are 2 different events.
Okay, and then Habitat for Humanity.
That would be a separate, we would go and meet with them, one of their conferences.
And Ogden Housing. So you're talking about 4 different events?
5 different events because
5.
UCUR is in there as well.
Okay. And they all said December 6th.
That was our due date
For the
to
research.
those.
Okay, so when are those events scheduled? Do you know?
Posters on the Hill if we do get acceptance to that, is in late April. So that will be about the same time we're graduating.
That's down at the Capitol in Salt Lake.
No,
right?
that's WSU Day at the Capitol.
Oh.
Closer to the hills in Washington, D.C.
Okay, I thought I heard you say Washington.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Alright.
WSU Day at the Capitol, I believe, is in February. UCURP is in February, and that's here. And then the others we're going to just schedule in whenever it works best for them.
Okay.
That's all. We encourage you
Right.
guys to eat a little more.